What's going on, guys? JSGC here, back again for another Manchester City video, where today we're going to be doing the preview of Manchester City's away game against Leyton Orient in the FA Cup. To me, it is Nico Gonzalez time. So, Leyton Orient taking on Manchester City should be a really good game of football and a real banana skin for Manchester City. So before I do crack on with this preview, guys, make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, do subscribe to my channel. It is free to subscribe. Also, don't forget social media links there in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up on the video. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments below, including your score and team prediction for this game. And finally, I would say a big thank you to SofaScore, today's video sponsor, who are going to keep you guys up to date with all the latest football scores from around the grounds, along with the latest match information, match statistics, and so much more. Not just limited to football, it's got all the sports that you guys love to follow, all in one place, all in one app. It's a very highly rated app. It is free to download and worthwhile checking out. And anyone that does download using my link in the description or the QR code on screen does help to support the future content created here on my channel. So match information for this game taking place at Brisbane Road, got its sponsor name of Gorhan Group Stadium. We are back in London for another away game, North East London to be exact, for the FA Cup 4th round on Saturday 8th of February 2025 with a 12:15 PM GMT kickoff time, an early one for all those heading down to Brisbane Road. Anyone heading down for the away day, do enjoy yourselves and do stay safe. Alternatively, if you're wanting to watch this game live in the UK, then the game is being broadcast live on BBC One. So our opponents, Leyton Orient, formed in 1881, led by manager Richie Wellens, currently find themselves 6th in League One, which is the third tier of English football. Currently find themselves in a playoff spot. Not been a bad season at all for them. In terms of the FA Cup, they beat Boreham Wood on penalties away from home in the first round. They beat Oldham Athletic at home 2-1 in the second round, and in the third round beat Championship side Derby County at home on penalties to set up this proper FA Cup game. Now, in terms of their recent form, last 6 games, won 2, drawn 2 and lost 2, including a loss last weekend at home to fellow playoff chasing rivals Stockport County 1-0. They did win their game before that, 6-2 away at Exeter City the midweek before, and a solid 2-0 win the weekend before that against Reading at home. So they're no mugs. We need a solid game here to go through. It's a real banana skin, this one, for Manchester City. A sellout crowd as well. Going to be a proper cup tie. Leyton Orient fans, players, coaches, everybody involved with the club are going to be well up for this. Now, in terms of the dangers, don't know too much about Leyton Orient. I do know a couple of their players though. Darren Pratley in central midfield. You got Kelman, their top goal scorer in League One, on 8 goals. I imagine he will be starting up top. They brought in new signing Randell Williams from Bolton, who could feature. I imagine he'll be seen more as a winger rather than a fullback. He's got a really big long throw, so long throws, set play, things like that, City need to be really wary of. I think he plays on the left-hand side, but apart from that, I'm not too sure. I'm sure we'll find out. They're going to play without fear, no doubt, so Manchester City need to be really careful. Now, in terms of injury news, Clare has a groin injury, so I reckon Brown's going to be starting. Beckles also has a hamstring injury at the back, so I reckon Hop will be starting instead for them. Now, they do normally line up with a 4-2-3-1 formation. I think they're going to stick with what they know. I imagine that 4-2-3-1 in midfield will become more of a 4-5-1 low block from them. So, with no replay, nothing to lose for Leyton Orient, I imagine they're going to try and have a pop at City, try and get forward and have a few shots, see what happens. It is all on the line here. So I imagine this is what I'm going with. My predicted starting 11 for Leyton Orient: Keeley in goal, Galbraith on the right hand side, Cooper and Hop as their centre backs, and Curry at left back. Midfield made up of Brown and Pratley as 2 holding defensive midfielders, with Donnelly, Markande and potentially Abdullahi on the left hand side. Potentially could be new signing Randell Williams, with Kelman starting up top. Now, Manchester City formed in 1894, led by manager Pep Guardiola. Currently find ourselves 5th in the Premier League. It's been a bit of a stuttery season. We was unbeaten domestically in 2025 until the 5-1 loss at the weekend against Arsenal away from home in the Premier League. In terms of the FA Cup, we beat Salford City in the third round 8-0 to get here. Salford since then haven't won a game, and they were in great form up until they played Manchester City. So it's amazing what a game against Manchester City and a humiliating humiliating defeat can do for a team. So Leyton Orient, I think, will be really wary that I'm going to look to try and sit tight, because whilst they're expected to go out, they'll want to keep the scoreline respectful. Nothing gets achieved for them having a brilliant season in League One than Man City turning up and ending up turning them over, and this game ends up finishing 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, etc., etc., which City are more than capable of doing. I just don't think City are going to be able to do that. So I think it's important here that Leyton Orient defend properly and keep this game as tight and as close as possible to try and keep the score down, and it also gives them the best possible opportunity to get a result and potentially pull off a huge giant killing in knocking Manchester City out of the cup. So if they end up getting beat, you want to be beat by a respectable scoreline. You don't want to be battered in this game, because it does nothing for their form, and all of a sudden they end up having a big drop-off, and they go from being 6 in League One, they could easily drop down into the top half and into mid-table, and all of a sudden their seasons come crumbling down despite having a cup run. That's the last thing that they want, so they're going to try and keep this close. Now, City's form, 7 wins in 21, was unbeaten in 7 games domestically up until the Arsenal loss, which has now changed that. We've had 6 days rest heading into this game. We've got huge games to come for the rest of the month. So this, to me, is an ideal game for City to do some rotation ahead of playing the Kings of Europe in 3 days' time against Real Madrid. That's right. Leyton Orient of League One on Saturday, Real Madrid in the Champions League at the Etihad on Tuesday. We've got some big difference here between the two sides. No offence there to Leyton Orient. I'm not taking Leyton Orient lightly, taking it one game at a time. Players are playing for places, and I expect a response from the team from that humiliating defeat against Arsenal last weekend. Now, City have dangers all over the pitch. However, we are missing several players. Rodri out long term. Oscar Bobb training. Maybe could make the squad for this game. If he does, I imagine it will be from the bench, not starting. Waiting for updates on Nathan Ake, Ruben Diaz and Jeremy Doku, who any of them are fit. I don't imagine that they will be starting in this game. Also waiting for an update on Ederson, who I do believe has returned to Manchester City training. Do we risk him? I'm not too sure I would, because he would be the goalkeeper I go with for our game against Real Madrid on Tuesday in the Champions League playoff. Now, we do have new signing, Nico Gonzalez, the £50 million deadline day signing from FC Porto, available for the selection, and could, and in my opinion should, be making his debut. So, my team prediction, I'm going Ortega starts in goal, Rico Lewis inverts, goes more into midfield, Khusanov moves over to the right hand side where we normally see Manuel Akanji, Vitor makes his debut and goes through as Manchester City's centre back in the centre of the field, and I go with Nico O'Reilly on the left hand side, because Nico O'Reilly to me looked very tidy in that position against Salford City, and I'd like to see him playing there again. He does like to get forward and actually is a pretty good finisher of the football. I do think Jahmai Simpson-Pusey is unlucky to miss out, but to me I'd go with Vitor and give him his debut ahead of Simpson-Pusey. We could see Simpson-Pusey potentially feature in this game, and if that is the case, then maybe Rico Lewis may move to the left hand side, and we move Simpson-Pusey into central of defence, and we'll see if Nico O'Reilly ends up going into midfield and somebody else ends up missing out. Now, in terms of my midfield, very strong this. I'm going with Nico Gonzalez starting as Manchester City's defensive midfielder, with Ilkay Gundogan as Manchester City's second double pivot, with Kevin De Bruyne further ahead of him. James McAtee starts for me on the right, Jack Grealish on the left, and I start Omar Marmoush up top. So lots of rotation in place there for Manchester City ahead of Real Madrid. It could potentially City end up rotating Omar Marmoush, but I'd like to see Omar Marmoush getting some game time here, see if he can get some assists and goals, build up his City account, build up his City confidence as well, and grab his first goal for Manchester City. If not, could be Mbama, and I'd have no problem with Mbama starting, as he did look good against Salford City as well. To me, though, it's a perfect time to be seeing some of our new players, including the likes of Vitor, Khusanov, and also Gonzalez. Do we go with Scott Carson if we do want to rotate in goalkeeping position? If we do have some doubts about Ederson's fitness, we'll see, but I reckon we'll go with Ortega in goal. Plenty of great options there, though, and get a team for me that's more than capable of winning this tie, with first teamers on the bench just in case. I'd mix in one or two of the young players in case things are going really well for City. You can chuck a couple of players in to make their debut and give a bit more of a rest for some of our players, to which to me, I don't think I'd be making any changes unless we're forced to, until we get to after the hour mark here for this game. And what I don't want to see is regular first team players being chucked on from the bench. This is a perfect chance here for them to have a full rest ahead of some massive games: Real Madrid, Newcastle, Real Madrid, Liverpool, Spurs, Forest. huge games coming up, our next 6 games after this game. Now, in terms of my score prediction, I'm going Manchester City to be too strong for Leyton Orient, and I'm going with a 3-0 victory for Manchester City. In terms of my betting tips, if he starts, I'm going for Omar Marmoush to score and also grab an assist anytime for Manchester City. I'd really like to see Jack Grealish grab a goal as well, like he did in the 3rd round against Salford City. So if he starts, I'm backing him to score anytime for Manchester City as well. So next up, Leyton Orient, they take on Mansfield at home on Tuesday night in League One. Manchester City also playing on Tuesday night. We've not got Mansfield, we've got Real Madrid at home in the first leg of the Champions League playoff. Our next domestic game in the Premier League on Saturday, where we take on Newcastle United, also at the Etihad Stadium. Now, last note, no live watch along as I'm away doing a video for my second channel, JSGC Football. Got a very exciting video lined up this weekend on there, so do stay tuned to that. Do go and subscribe, do go and check it out. Links and details, they are in the description. I will have my match review and match reaction up after this game. It will more than likely come on Sunday though for you guys to enjoy, as we have the build up to the Real Madrid game from there as well, so I will see you then. So that's been today's video. Please do leave a thumbs up, do let me know your thoughts in the comments below, including your score and team prediction for this game. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you're new around here. It is free to subscribe. Press that red button, press the bell, and put your push notifications on to be notified immediately for when I do upload. Also, don't forget social media links, they're in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. And finally, do go and check out today's video sponsor, which is brought to you by SofaScore. See you all again real soon for the next City video. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.